Because I remember my dad buying a house in Kingston, Ontario, and he paid like $68,000 for that house in Kingston back in the day. Okay? So the disparity between your income and the price of a home was that much less. That much less. Purchasing a home was actually achievable. If you had a decent job, you could buy a home.
There was no inflation in food.
Even in the 80s, when interest rates went up to 19, 20%, it was still okay because your house price was under 200,000. So that interest factor didn't make as much of a difference as it does now. A 1% change on $1 million, it's a big difference. Right? So you have to put that all into perspective.
Do any of you guys know what the key points that were outlined by the Prime Minister for the housing policies?
No. What's your question?
Do any of you guys know what key points were outlined?
131,000 new homes by the year 2031, I think was one of the stats. Between 2026 and 2031, 131,000 new homes will be built because of the funding.
Okay, so
now here's another stat. Okay, 2019 new home starts 100,000 in Ontario. I'm talking province wide. In 2021, it dropped down to 96,000. In 2022, I believe it was a little over 100,000. I think it was 110, 112,000 new home starts in Ontario. We don't have the stats obviously for 2023 because they're probably still accumulating that data. But when you look at immigration, okay, aside from interprovincial immigration, put that aside, which actually, in fact, the stats show that in the last few years, there's been a negative interprovincial immigration. So people have been moving out of Ontario into other provinces on an annual basis. So we were going backwards interprovincially, but people immigrating into Ontario from outside of the province in 2019 was around 200,000. So double the amount of new home starts. Okay. In 2021, it dropped down to 176. And I think in 2022, it spiked to over 200,000 in immigrants coming from outside of the province or outside of Canada. Okay. So that tells you right there, just from that factor alone, that there isn't enough.
What are they doing about it?
That there isn't enough, right? And that's not even, I mean, set aside all the young people that are growing up in this country. Like, how are they gonna find a home, right? So it just makes it that much. How are they dealing with it? Well, the government just announced this thing, 131,000 over the next 10 years. That's gonna help a lot. Thanks.
okay, so they're adding 15
Thumbs
million.
up on that one.
Welcome to Groundbreakers, a podcast all about real estate development. I am your host, Nick Stilo, and my co-host, Joe Villar.
Welcome, everyone.
And today we're talking about Canada Builds, the PM's new housing policy announcement. Did you read through this?
I did. To be honest with you, I think it's a lot of BS. But anyways, let's talk about it.
Okay, so I don't think a lot of it's BS. I think that it means well, but I don't think it makes a lot of sense. And I say that because the numbers don't add up. So the key point here is that they'll be delivering a $15 billion top up. I don't see how they're going to drop the rates. Inflation is going to go up again next month because gas prices went up, and gas prices affects everything that you wear, that you eat.
Yeah, of course.
That you
Transport and all that.
That's
also,
right.
housing prices affect inflation. And you just mentioned bidding wars, right? Prices go up in bidding wars. Housing prices also have a big factor on inflation. So if housing pricing goes up, inflation goes up. If inflation goes up, that rate isn't moving.
But bidding wars also means that the stress test is going to make it impossible for these bids to go too high. So eventually, we're going to have that downward spiral again, where even if there's a bidding war, people are going to have to bow out because they can't get that approval from the bank. Right? So what is the solution as builders? Because this podcast is all about builders. What do you guys say is the answer for something like this?
I don't know. I'll be the first one to admit that.
I think the municipalities need to participate in this. Development charges is a big component of the cost of housing these days. and municipalities have to be partners on this to be able to provide more housing to individuals. These DC rates have to come down.
But that's only
fees have to come
one
down.
piece of the puzzle.
I get it, but it's a piece.
Land
It's a
price-
piece
land-
it's a
regardless.
piece.
Yeah.
It's a
Land
piece.
prices aren't coming down.
No,
Construction costs aren't coming down.
Well, land prices won't come
Material-
down because land is a hot commodity right now, something that we don't have much of. So tell
In
me
key
something.
urban areas, no. I mean, yeah, you can go to Nineveh and build, but not
Right.
a lot of
So
immigrants are going to
within the
Nineveh.
GTA, right? Is there anywhere to build anymore?
Within the GTA, sure there is.
Sure.
There's tons of low-rise plazas
Oh, that has to
can
be
that
bulldozed.
can be converted.
So you're
knocked
talking about
down.
knocked down. What
Yeah,
about
yeah.
free vacant land?
No, very little.
Very little.
Maybe
So
an
you got to
infill-
go
an
out.
infill lot here and there, an acre here or there.
But now, doesn't that mean you guys are paying premium to take out already an established, let's say, plaza to build up a condominium?
You are, but that premium also comes with cash flow oftentimes, so it helps carry the site for the first 4 or 5 years until you're ready to put a shovel in the ground.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it takes that long for sure.
Okay, so Old Bronte. This is a good segue. Old Bronte, was it on anything? Did you was it just land?
Two houses side by side.
two
We
single
assembled them-
detached homes with it.
Assembled them in the same weekend, actually, from 2 different sellers and 2 different brokerages.
That was the historical one, right?
One of them was a historical one.
Okay.
It was listed. So was the other one.
Okay. So, guys, we're talking Old Bronte. This is how we're going to end this episode. And we were talking off air about that last 5%, which we're slowly starting to approach. The last 5% of Old Bronte, right?
Last 5% of construction, yes.
So, explain to me, guys, what is the last 5% the easiest part?
The last 5% is the absolute hardest part to come together. The first 90 to 95% are a lot easier. And the reason why the last 5% are hard to come together is because there's so much happening in the building at that time. You've got drywallers, you've got tapers, you've got painters, you've got carpentry, you've got kitchens, you've got flooring, you've got tiling,
Needs a high degree of
you've
coordination.
got electricians, you've got mechanical, you've got commissioning of systems.
And this is assuming that there's no issues
Absolutely.
Correct.
And there's always issues.
there's always-
Every day,
every day. So,
Every day.
the last 5% is the most tedious.
not
right?
tedious, but it can be
Difficult.
very, very stressful.
very stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are putting kitchens together, trim together, paint together, tiles together,
All
bathtubs
the
together.
design stuff, all
All your finishes,
your finishes.
your fixtures.
Joe, have you been there
Door
recently?
I was there earlier this week. I was there on Tuesday,
And what was the last? And so before that, when was the last time you were there?
the week before,
Oh, so you're there every week as well.
pretty much.
And are you guys now seeing a day-to-day change, or is it every week?
Absolutely.
Week?
Oh,
Oh, every day.
Day-to-day changes, 100%.
Yeah.
A lot of people working in there.
Yeah.
Is anyone out of there now? Like, is there any tradesmen that are now done and they can leave?
Well, all the early trades, your excavator is gone, your shoring guys are gone, your concrete guys are gone.
Really?
That's pretty much it. Everybody else is still there.
Everybody else is still there. So, and obviously this is in Oakville. Now, being that it's in Oakville, do you feel that Oakville has been in participation? Like, are they all for what you guys are doing?
Yeah, Oakville's been a good municipality to work with
Okay.
during construction.
Can you guys share any stories about any other municipalities that weren't as nice?
No. Be sensible with your dollar. Don't spend $15 on an avocado toast. Make it yourself. You can still have the avocado toast, but go to the supermarket. It's not that much cheaper, mind you, but you can get 4 avocados for $8 and you can get a loaf of bread for 2. So you're in $10 as opposed to getting 1 serving for $15. Make it yourself.
So you're talking about the small dollars.
Yeah, but the small dollars add up to big dollars, and that's what's going to help people save, whether that's for renting or buying.
Really? Really? What about you, Joe? What do you think?
I can't, really, that's probably the best advice. Watch your dollars. At
Do you
the end
think
of the day.
everyone's going out to restaurants too much, buying the